Welcome back. My next guest is a Republican state senator from the state of California who's trying to help Golden State residents get paid while their governor keeps lockdown restrictions in place and their unemployment system is just a mess. Joining me now, State Senator Shannon Grove. Welcome to Real America, Shannon. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Dan. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for joining us today. Okay, so I make no qualms about it. I am no fan of your governor, Gavin Newsom. I've lived in the Golden State on and off, different periods of my life in the last 40-some years. And I got to say, since this whole COVID lockdown, which I believe in California it hit around March 18th or 19th, about, is that correct?
Yes, yeah. March 14th, yes.
Insane. You have other states who have come out, their Supreme Courts. Michigan yesterday ruled against the governor there, Whitmer. Pennsylvania, Jersey, Wisconsin. There's tons of states looking at this. I hear rumor, and maybe you can fill us in, that the California State Supreme Court is now hearing a case, or will be, to find out if, in fact, Governor Newsom's restrictions and lockdowns are unconstitutional and then will be just expounded and gotten rid of so that the state can open back up and people can get back to their lives. Is that what's going on in Sacramento right now?
So yes, there are two assembly members, Kevin Carley and James Gallagher, that have filed a lawsuit against the governor to open back up our state. He's exceeded his executive emergency authority. The Constitution says it has to be ended at the earliest possible convenience. We are now 223 days into the governor's 14-day shutdown to flatten the curve. And you mentioned disasters about EDD. That's a disaster. The governor of this state shut down people's jobs, told them they could not go to work and they had to stay at home. And then he failed to provide adequate backup for people to be able to gain revenue from the state via EDD, unemployment insurance, to be able to provide for their families.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. I got mind readers today on the show. EDD, I've got friends that live in California. Some have went back to work. Some have kind of went back to work. Some that own their own businesses are freaking out, that have 30, 40, 50 employees. And one of my really closest friends said that his business is in deep trouble, and it's primarily because of the EDD mess. So what happened? Was the state not prepared, didn't know how to handle this, which obviously can't fault the workers at EDD for that, because this is unprecedented to have a lockdown last 7 months. But what was, I mean, I don't want to point fingers, but what was the problem? Why is EDD such a mess? And you've got millions of your, 39 million residents. There are millions that need this money to pay the bills, to feed their kids. What happened?
So there's about 1.6 million in backlog that the EDD has the governor put a 2-week hold on, that we're not even going to address this backlog until we try to figure out what's going on in the EDD office, was basically his statement. So what happened is that you have an inadequate agency that wasn't prepared for all of the amounts of individuals that will be filing for unemployment due to the governor's lockdown. Then you have a substantial amount of fraud. We've been contacted by our office, and many other legislators have been contacted, where 10s, 20s, 30 pieces of mail have gone to one household with different names. We've got information that prisoners in prison are filing for unemployment insurance. And when the CARES Act was passed and the President of the United States issued additional dollars so that Californians could be taken care of, the catch on that CARES Act, or that dollar amount, was so that you had to distribute the money within 14 days. And our state system and the governor has failed to do so. We still have, like I said, over 1.6 million people in a backlog that have not received any benefits at all.
Just disgusting that people out there during a time of crisis like this would commit fraud, but there's always evil in the world, and we've got to seek it out and get rid of it. Let's talk more about the lockdown and how it's affecting your state. I read a little background. You obviously have been a resident for many, many, many years. You know why the Golden State has that name, Golden. It used to be pretty golden, but you literally have, and I think the latest article I read is at 15,000 people a week fleeing the state. You have 5,000 to 10,000 small businesses and medium and large ones fleeing the state a month. I don't know what to say. I mean, California used to be some place that a lot of folks around the nation would look to and go, wow, someday, or I'd wish to live there. Oh, man. And now they're like, there's no way in hell I want to move to California right now with what's going on with the governor's lockdown and with the taxes, obviously.
Obviously, with the governor's lockdown and using COVID as a further excuse to be detrimental to businesses and job creators, you are right. People are leaving the state. 53% of the state of California thinks it's unaffordable and can't live here. And with COVID, they're just adding more cost to the affordability crisis that we already have in California. The governor signed almost 400 bills or executive orders, not 400 executive orders, but the executive orders that he has signed has impacted almost 400 bills without even going through a legislative process.
Wow.
Like a presumption on workers' comp. So it's presumed automatically in the state of California that if you have an employee that has COVID, it automatically happened at your workplace. Regardless if that employee worked 2 hours a day or 10 hours a day, it's automatically employer's fault. That's a significant impact on our job creators.
Yeah,
Especially
you're crushing businesses. You're
Yes.
crushing businesses. They can't even afford to pay workers' comp and their health insurance. That's another argument for another day. They're wrapping me up 10 seconds. I know you guys aren't back in session till the beginning of the new year, so he's like dictator in charge for the next 2.5 months. Anything that you guys can do, what's being done to get these folks those checks that deserve them and need them?
So we're working with the EDD office, and it's very difficult to do that. And the Secretary of Labor, it's very, very difficult to do that. And the reason why is because what we consider to be fraud, like all these fraudulent mail pieces that are going from EDD to offer benefits, we think 1 or 2 per household is significant. They're limiting the number to 10 or 15, which still has a tremendous amount of availability for fraud. You can vote red, and we can stop this nonsense. If everybody just casts a ballot for a red candidate, Republican candidate, we're so unbalanced. Out of 40 senators, there's 11 Republicans, 29 Democrats. It takes 21 to stop this nonsense.
Wow.
We need
yeah.
balance.
Try and make the Golden State golden again. Haven't seen it since the Reagan era. Republican Senator Shannon Grove from the 16th Senate District in California, thank you so much for filling us in on that crisis that's going on in the Golden State. You have a great day. Take care.